of the wonders of the world, the Great Wall of China was the only one built to protect us.
What on earth are they fighting here? These people are doomed. Maybe, but I'm going to stay and fight.
The Great Wall, rated PG-13.
Oh, there's so much wrong with that movie in particular, but let's be honest, every movie this weekend is so wrong in so many ways. There's not one winner this week. Welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. We are taking a look at the 3 films of February 17, 2017. Yeah, you thought the week before we got 2 out of 3 really good movies? You thought, okay, the crap season is over, time to get to the stuff the studios believe in. Nope. Exhibit A, The Great Wall. A movie that is so terrible that even Donald Trump's Great Wall that he was going to build in Mexico would look at this and go like, he'd look at this and go like, you're going a little too far, pal. I mean, you've gone too far, like pretty much. But the plot centers around 2 European mercenary warriors played by Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal, imprisoned by Imperial Chinese forces within the Great Wall of China after arriving in a search for gunpowder, eventually joining forces with the Chinese to help combat an alien threat. You see the problems right away. Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal are the leading stars of this movie against an alien threat. The trailer literally says, the Great Wall was sworn to protect us. Protect who? I mean, we don't live in China. We don't. Is most of my audience that most of the people that I know in this country obviously don't live in China. So what is this thing supposed to be protecting us from? Honestly, like it just. That's already messed up. That's already the worst problem. The first problem alone. Second problem is that this is a stupid idea in general to make it a movie about, not like actual Chinese lore creatures, but no, an alien threat. And 3, this is directed by the same person that did Hero and House of Flying Daggers. I mean, holy mother of God. What a disaster. What a terrible, terrible film. On top of all that, you would think Universal would have learned by this point after so many flops, so many big budget flops that they thought they were going to do so well, like Seventh Son, or 47 Ronin, or R.I.P.D., losing so much money. You think after those films they would have learned their lesson, but no. They're not even close to being finished with learning their lesson overall, because they spent over $150 million on this, and then you had Mortal Engines the following year. They have the Tom Cruise Mummy movie coming out later this year. Yeah, Universal was just churning out money on these projects that were never going to make any money back at all. Even for the target audience in China, this thing didn't do well at all. It lost them $75 million. So was it worth it? I don't think it was, because, yeah, the movie isn't that good. It's boring. Nothing intriguing is happening here. It's an overbloated CG mess of a film. I mean, it's a bad movie. It's a really bad film, and it's just not. There's just nothing of value to it whatsoever that makes it worth it in the long run. So, why even make this movie? Well, because we have to. The international audiences will come in and see it. And yeah, no, they didn't. They did not. So, I mean, what else am I gonna tell you, man? It's a bad movie. The Great Wall just sucks. It just sucks so badly. But then again, every movie this week sucks. Case in point with our next film, Fist Fight.
When the other's unconscious.
Teachers don't fight.
911, what's your emergency?
There's a crazy guy at my high school. He's trying to beat me up.
If you have a problem with a bully, I need you to speak to a teacher.
I am a teacher.
Maybe I'll just run.
No. Who's you, Seabiscuit? Kill him! Are you telling me that there's nothing you can do?
I could potentially revive you after he renders you unconscious, but again, only if it's during school hours.
Yeah, okay.
Fist Fight, rated R, February 17th.
Yeah, let's take the 80s classic 3 O'Clock High. Instead of making it about the 2 students fighting each other, let's make it about the teachers fighting each other, and let's make it raunchy. Let's make it raunchier than it needs to be, in that lazy kind of raunchiness, because, Charlie Day and Ice Cube clearly are not worthy of being funny without being remotely wasted in a film like this. But spoiler, yeah, they're being wasted in this film. High school teacher Andy Campbell, played by Charlie Day, accidentally gets his colleague Ron Strickland, Ice Cube, fired, and Strickland challenges him to an after-school fight. And like I said, It's literally 3 o'clock high about this kid who was assigned to write a piece for the school paper about this new kid who's rumored to be a psychotic nutcase, and then they fight in the parking lot at 3 o'clock, and the kid tries to decide, do whatever it takes to avoid the confrontation. Yeah, it's that movie, except with adults, and much raunchier, because yeah, this was around the time when we have all these god-awful R-rated comedies that, you know, they thought they had a hook because they were rated R and people were going to come out and see them, but, I mean, I'll give it this. I did laugh at it more than I did with Vacation or Zoolander 2 or Get Hard. Ice Cube and Charlie Day are the least of this film's problems. They have a lot of good comedic chemistry together, and it shows on screen, and sometimes the jokes do very well. The movie doesn't cock tease you and give you no fight. You see the actual fist fight, and it's as hilarious and exciting as you can ask it to be. It was a film that made it worth it to get to that point, but the rest of the movie just really drags on and on and on. It has a lot of the same problem that most of these R-rated comedies were doing back then. They don't want to be funny for something creative. They just want to be funny for as many pointless, gross-out jokes you can throw in there, and that's it. There's nothing creative about a good third of these jokes whatsoever. And a lot of these jokes are nothing but bad gags that the film doesn't get, that are just not funny. It has the problem with Why Him, where, you know, you know how that film really felt like a film, that and Dirty Grandpa, where it felt like it was written by people who just learned what curse words were. So let's just have them say a bunch of curse words for the sake of just doing it, regardless if it's actually funny or not. They do that with this movie. All you have in this movie is a little kid singing, "Stupid ass bitch, I ain't fucking with you." Just because you have a little kid doing it doesn't make it funny. You want to see how funny it is for a kid to actually swear? Watch South Park. Watch what Trey Parker's daughter does whenever she has to speak like Ike, and she has to say something, you know, no, god damn it, like, I can't do it myself, but look for that stuff out there, because that is how you do it with a little kid. Which sounds absolutely horrible, but that's how you make swear words from a little kid funny. This movie, no. And another problem that this movie has is wasting its supporting cast. For the second film in a row, Christina Hendricks is wasted in a raunchy comedy, the other being Bad Santa 2. Tracy Morgan has his funny moments, but he's just there to be Tracy Morgan. You got Jillian Bell, Kumail Nanjiani, Dean Norris, Dennis Haysbert, Joanna Garcia Swisher, Kim Whitley, all wasted except to just be nothing but stereotypes for the characters they're playing. Like, they play roles that you've seen done to death before so many times in the past. Too many of those moments, plus a generic-ass script that tries to blend 3 O'Clock High with Joe Somebody, a terrible comedy in its own merits, into a cliched R-rated comedy, makes this movie a massive disappointment, because there was so much potential what they could have made this, like Neighbors 2. We had the raunchy comedy, but with a message alongside it, but nope. Just get your money quickly and leave you disappointed. It's like a bad one-night stand. Avoid fist fight like the plague, so... And let's get to the bottom of the barrel, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, Gore Verbinski, what happened to you, man? A Cure for Wellness. Which is funny, because that's what most people did after they saw this movie. They wanted to jump off of a bridge and kill themselves. I know that was something I wanted to do, because, holy mother of God, this movie was a mess. Dane DeHaan stars as an ambitious young executive sent to retrieve his company's CEO from an idyllic but mysterious wellness center at a remote location in the Swiss Alps. He soon suspects that the spa's miraculous treatments are not what they seem. When he begins to unravel its terrifying secrets, his sanity is tested, and he finds himself diagnosed with the same curious illness that keeps all the guests here longing for the cure. So imagine if he took the road to Wellville and made it more of a dark thriller, I guess. I mean, this was Gore Verbinski's first movie after he made the disastrous Lone Ranger, which, yeah, this isn't any better. And in fact, I would even go as far as to say that this is even worse than the Lone Ranger was, because, holy mother of God, this was boring. If you crossed Crimson Peak and Shutter Island and added a 2.5-hour runtime of nice-looking visuals, I just gave you the whole movie right there. Which really, that's the only thing the film has going for it, is the visuals that look impressive with that gothic style to it, but what do we always say here? Visuals don't make the fucking movie. You know what else had great visuals and nothing else? Crimson Peak. And guess what? That shit sucked too. But Crimson Peak was at least trying to do something and failed miserably at it. This one's not even trying. The whole movie's existence is to just show creepy-looking imagery with the most wooden acting you could possibly imagine. Dane DeHaan, who started his career off nicely in Chronicle a couple years ago, really struggles to find his calling here. He's trying way too hard to be like DiCaprio in Shutter Island. He's just lost that acting spunk he had in the beginning of his career. And it also doesn't help that Mia Goth is also a big plank of wood, too. I mean, she's gone on to become a great actress, but man, back then, I mean, oh my god, this movie, like, these performances are terrible. It fails in every other department. You got the cheap jump scares, you got lackluster character development, a predictable story that's been done to death in numerous movies and TV shows, a runtime of over 2.5 hours that feels like a friggin' eternity because nothing is happening. A real cure for wellness would be not to waste your time with this garbage that this movie is. You expect a whole much better from Gore Verbinski, but this is just pathetic. It's the most boring 2.5 hour movie-going experience you can have in a theater, and yeah, it was it's pretty bad. It was really, really, really bad. What else you gotta say, man? A cure for wellness. Yeah, this movie needs a cure for how bad it really is. Oh man, we need a palate cleanser big time, and luckily we will get that next week to wrap February off on Time About the Movies, because Jordan Peele is coming in to say, hey motherfuckers, here's how you make some good horror. With Get Out, his groundbreaking movie that eventually launched him as a horror movie directing, as a, not really a horror movie, a horror directing icon right now, but we'll talk about that one. We'll talk about one of the best films of the year easily, but we will also talk about this year's Norm of the North with a star-studded cast and a movie that looks so cheap, but it's on the big screen. It's got all these big names involved in it. Rock Dog and also Collide. Is that it? Oh, and also another bad animated movie, Leap. So 4 films we'll take a look at next time around to wrap up February. At least one of them will be good, really good. So, yeah, that's it. So with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did before. So, with all that said, thank you so much for watching, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future. I will see you at the movies. Take care.